All right, so for sig test number 4, this is going way back. We're kicking it all the way back to Algebra 1. So writing the equation of a line that's perpendicular to a certain line versus writing the equation of a line that's parallel to a certain line. So like I said, these are not difficult concepts. I'm pretty sure you guys could all do this together as a group, but I'll go over it with you just so that you have an idea of what it is. So part A says find the equation of the line that is perpendicular to this line right here at x equals 9. So can you guys tell me how I know, or I should say what I know about lines that are perpendicular to each other? Yeah, when they intersect graphically, they make right angles with each other, and what do we know about their slopes? They're reciprocals and opposites. Good, so they're the negative reciprocals. So if I know the slope of the line I'm being given, then I can figure out the perpendicular slope by finding the opposite reciprocal slope. So can anybody tell me the slope of this line that they're giving me? Negative 1/5. So what is the perpendicular slope to that? 5. Good, positive 5. So for part A, the slope I'm given is negative 1/5. The perpendicular slope would be positive 5. All right, and I need two things to write a line because that's all they're asking for. They want the equation of a line. So I need a slope to write a line. What's the other thing I need? A point, right? I need a point. So I know the x-coordinate of the point, it's x equals 9. How do I figure out the y-coordinate? I plug it in. So do me a favor and plug that in to this formula that we're given, this equation we're given, and find the y-coordinate for that point. So it just so happens that in this example, our answer simplified to a whole number. So this negative 1/5 with the 5 simplified to a whole number. If that didn't happen, could you add this, like if this was a fraction still, could you still add a fraction together with a whole number? Yeah, I'm not asking if you want to, but could you? That's my question. All right, yeah, it's not as ideal to add together fractions with whole numbers, but is it possible? Yes, it's definitely possible. Do you want to know the number one mistake I saw in last year's SIG test on this problem? When people read the directions, they skipped right over this +3 for some reason, and everyone that got it wrong, well not everyone, but a majority of people that got it wrong forgot to add this +3 in because they were just reading the question so quickly that they did not pay attention to the entire equation. So that is like the simplest mistake of them all, and I swear people made that mistake over and over again. I don't know why. But read the question carefully so that you know exactly what is part of the question. So we have this point 9, 2, we have this perpendicular slope of 5. So when we write the equation in slope-intercept form, point slope form, I get y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Final answer. And if you wanted to convert it into slope-intercept form, you could be my guest. Or if you wanted to leave it in point slope form, that is totally okay as well. And I actually encourage that because on the AP test, they will accept this, and you're less likely to get it wrong and waste time if you leave it in this form. Any questions about part A, how to write the equation of a line in point slope form? Okay, part B. You want to know why people got part B wrong? I don't want to say that they didn't know what the origin was, but for some reason when we talked about the origin, they had a hard time realizing that that was a point on their graph. So what is the origin? 0, 0. So when I asked them for two things that they needed to find the equation of a line, they needed a slope and they needed a point. And that point part kept tripping people up and they didn't know how to plug in 0, 0 into point slope form. So that was the most common mistake from last year on this exam. So let's look at part B together. May I erase part A? Okay. So for part B, we already have a point. They're giving us that it's the origin, so I know my point is 0, 0. How do I figure out the slope that's parallel to that? It's the same slope, so what is the slope of that line? How do I find the slope of that line? Yeah, I would solve for y. I would put it into slope-intercept form so that you could actually figure out the slope very easily just by reading it. So do me a favor and solve for y in that equation to put it into slope-intercept form. All right, so once you do that and you solve for y, what do we get for the slope? 1/12, and what's our point? 0, 0. So when we plug those into point slope form, we get y minus y1 equals m, and we're keeping the same slope because we want a line that's parallel, and parallel lines have the same slope. So equals m times x minus x1. Can I leave my answer like that? Absolutely. Some of you guys don't like leaving it like that because you don't like seeing all the zeros in there since they're actually just random placeholders. So you could also write your answer like this, and that would also be correct. So either one of these is fine.
Why did you do 112 instead of dividing?
Because the slope itself doesn't have the x with it, and so if you want to write it as a coefficient, you would write it as 1/12.